Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading of Stick Dog. Last time we read chapters 1, 2, and 3, and today we're going to start with chapter 4. Alright, the next chapter of Stick Dog. Chapter 4, an acorn drops in the forest. With Stick Dog in the lead, all 5 dogs sprinted off in search of yummy hamburgers. 20 paws charging across the twigs, leaves, and sticks of the forest floor created a thunderous racket. But it was a thunderous racket only for a couple of minutes. Then something happened. Poo-Poo saw a squirrel. "Stop, everybody stop!" yelled Poo-Poo, and he skidded to a halt. Karen, Stripes, and Mutt stopped quickly beside Poo-Poo. "What?" they asked. Up there, Poo-Poo exclaimed, and lifted her nose up into the air to point. Squirrel there in the oak tree. 4 dogs gathered round the trunk of the tree. Stick Dog stood off to the side. The smell of those hamburgers was even stronger now. "Hey, you guys," Stick Dog said. "Let's keep going down the track and track down those hamburgers." Starting to get pretty hungry. Poo-Poo snapped his head towards Stick Dog and looked at him in the eyes. "You must not have heard me. There is a squirrel up there." And he turned back to the tree. Stick Dog knew this delay would only make his hunger worse. He said, "I heard you, Poo-Poo, and I know how important squirrels are to you. I really do. It's just that they're more than just important to me," said Poo-Poo. "They're a gross under-exaggeration. Squirrels are my arch enemies. Ever since I was a puppy on the dairy farm, they've been torturing me." "You grew up on a dairy farm, Poo-Poo?" Mutt asked. "I think so. I remember there were cows everywhere," he answered, never once taking his eyes off of the enemy in the tree. "And there were squirrels everywhere too, with their sniffy little noses and their chattering sounds and those puffy tails. Oh, I can't stand those puffy tails. Like, they're so great. Look at us, we have puffy tails. Aren't we so special?" Stick Dog came a step closer and glanced up to the oak tree. "Poo-Poo, I might not feel quite as strongly as you do about squirrels." "They're evil," Poo-Poo interrupted. "Truly evil." Okay, they're evil," said Stick Dog. "I just wonder why we have to worry about this particular squirrel in this particular tree at this particular time. We're on our way to find tasty hamburgers. With a good strategy and some good teamwork, we'll be feasting on hamburgers in no time." Poo-Poo was quiet and still. Stick Dog hoped that he would be absorbing the words and would decide to abandon the squirrel and continue their mission. "Did you see that?" Poo-Poo screamed. "It just twitched its tail at me. I can't even stand it when they do that. It drives me crazy." "Could you just forget about it this one time?" Stick Dog asked. Poo-Poo paused and considered. "Well, maybe." And then the squirrel dropped an acorn on Poo-Poo's head. Poo-Poo jumped, barking furiously, and put his front paws as high as he could on the tree trunk. "Why, you rotten little furry, no-good, fuzzy-tailed, nut-eating, acorn-dropping, sneaky tree-climbing beast!" he yelled. "What happened?" asked Karen. "You're not going to believe that fuzzy gray trickster did to me," he exclaimed. "What did he do?" asked Mutt and Stripes. "That puffy-tailed, nose-twitching, branch-jumping little scoundrel dropped an acorn on my head." "He did it," said Karen. "I can't believe it." "He did," answered Poo-Poo, his eyes fixed on the top branches of that tree. "This is the last time," said Poo-Poo, now circling the tree, growling at the uppermost branches. "I've had it with their twitchy tails and their oh-so-superior tree-jumping skills and fancy wire-walking expertise. And I've really had it with their acorn-dropping ways. It's time to set things right and restore the natural order of things. Dogs are better than squirrels, and today I'm going to prove it." "How are you going to do that, Poo-Poo?" asked Karen. "I'm not sure, but I'm thinking I'll just wait here until that acorn comes down, or until that squirrel comes down," said Poo-Poo. He stopped and brought a paw to his chin. "That might be a while. That nasty, gray little fluffball probably has a stash of food up there somewhere. That would just be like any squirrel." "So what are you going to do?" asked Mutt. "I'll just have to find my way up. I don't know if you know this or not, but dogs can't climb trees, and this presented a dilemma." Do you know what a dilemma is? It's when you have a choice among things to do, but none of the options are very good. Let's see. Let me think of an example. Okay, here's one. It's dinner time and you have 2 vegetables to choose from, overcooked green beans or steamed cauliflower. And your mom says you have to pick one. You, my vegetable-avoiding friend, are now faced with a dilemma. Actually, I don't mind cauliflower that much, except it kind of looks like brains. And let's face it, it's not something you're going to want to think about when you're eating. I just ruined cauliflower for you, didn't I? Well, enjoy your overcooked green beans. So Poo-Poo's dilemma was this. He could wait for that squirrel to come down, which could take forever, or he could find a way up, which is pretty tough for a dog who can't climb trees. After a few laps around that tree with his face contorted in deep thought, Poo-Poo stopped and stood there with his 4 friends. Does anyone here have a huge rubber band? About 6 feet long and really stretchy? Stick Dog shook his head. So did Karen and Stripes. Fresh out, answered Mutt. Why do you want one? Asked Karen. Well, with all the trees around here, I thought I could string a giant rubber band between a couple of trunks to create a slingshot. Then I could shoot my way up there to get that whisker-twitching menace to society. Mutt, Karen, and Stripes nodded in understanding. Stick Dog didn't say anything. How about a cannon? Anybody have a cannon? Poo-Poo asked. Same principle as a slingshot, just different kind of shooting mechanism. Anybody? Stick Dog, Karen, and Stripes shook their heads again. Not with me, replied Mutt. Dang it, Poo-Poo said. He began to tap his left paw against his forehead in the ground in rapid taps. He was thinking hard, very hard. I got it. Somebody here has to have a trampoline, right? You know those big contraptions with the springs around the outside and the big rubbery circle thing in the middle? I've seen humans jumping really high on those things. Do any of you have one of those? Anyone? Stick Dog said he didn't. Stripes and Karen did the same. Mutt splayed his legs and shook his whole body as if he thought there was a chance a trampoline might fall out of his fur. He studied the ground beneath him and seemed disappointed to find there was no trampoline. Not today, he answered. This is great, just great, Poo-Poo moaned. Here I have this device combining Chatterbox practically within my grasp, and I can't finish the job. Finally, Stick Dog rose to his feet. He knew the squirrel was not practically within Poo-Poo's grasp at all, but he also knew they had to get to the park as fast as possible if they had any chance at getting a hamburger. Every minute of delay meant their hunger would grow more and more severe, and it also meant the hamburgers might have been eaten before they even had a chance to grab them. Stick Dog knew he had to act. He came to the tree, stood shoulder to shoulder with Poo-Poo and whispered, I see what you mean now. That acorn dropping on your head made it all too clear. It's time to deal with this tail twitcher. Poo-Poo, clearly surprised, turned his head and stared at Stick Dog. Poo-Poo's right, Stick Dog shouted up in the general direction of the squirrel. He really couldn't see it, but that didn't really matter to him. I've had it with sniveling, tail-shaking chattermouths like you. Mutt, Karen, and Stripes all stared at Stick Dog too, curious and surprises on their faces. We can wait all week if we have to. No food, no water, no problem. Stick Dog was going to do his best to look as tough as he could. He squinted his eyes and tried to snarl. It was not something he was very good at. You smell that hamburger aroma coming from the park, you fuzzy tail shaker? Do you? The squirrel was paying no attention. It was digging the nut from an acorn shell. The dog, however, had quickly rediscovered the scent of hamburger. Their noses were lifted in the air. See how good that smells? Stick Dog continued shouting. Well, we don't care one bit. Those humans can cook 1,000,000 tasty hamburgers and eat them all. So what if we don't get any? Stick Dog, whispered Mutt. There was a look of concern on his face. If we have to wait until we're just skin and bones and grilling season is over and we'll never eat again, that's fine by us, Stick Dog continued. Stick Dog, can I have a word with you? Asked Karen. She appeared bothered as well. Stick Dog pretended not to hear her. He shouted, Hey, you up there, I want you to know that I agree 100% with Poo-Poo. I will gladly sacrifice a chance at delicious, juicy hamburgers. So what if we hadn't had anything to eat since yesterday morning? So what if we never get a chance like this ever again? Stick Dog, excuse me, said Stripes, but Stick Dog went on. I know that meaty juice and smoky flavor would be the best we ever tasted, and it would be so nice to have warm food for a change. We almost always find cold food. We never get warm food like hamburgers from the grill, but it doesn't matter, we're not going anymore. Stick Dog! Poo-Poo tried to interrupt, but Stick Dog just kept going. Just to show you how committed I am, I'm going to take a big sniff in the air and not leave. Are you watching? Stick Dog took a huge sniff in the air, and he expected they would too, the other dogs. The wind was drifting in the perfect direction, blowing the mouth-watering, hamburger-scented breeze right to them. He heard the slow, deep rumble of the other dogs' stomachs. From the corner of his eye, he saw Poo-Poo close his eyes and lick his lips. Doesn't that smell extra delicious, Mr. Twitchy Pants? Stick Dog called to the squirrel. I can almost taste them. We don't care though. We're not leaving. No way. Stick Dog? Yes, Poo-Poo, Stick Dog answered, not lowering his head. I'm thinking, she said, that maybe we should get those hamburgers and worry about proving our superiority to squirrels later. Well, are you sure? Stick Dog, Poo-Poo declared. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Stick Dog lowered his head and stretched his legs, preparing for the rest of the journey to Picasso Park. Well, if you're sure that's what you want to do, Poo-Poo. And Poo-Poo nodded quickly and wagged his tail. What are you waiting for? Let's go. And without even looking up, Poo-Poo ran right past the oak tree and the squirrel that was still in it. Stick Dog smiled. To the park, he said to Mutt, Stripes, and Karen. And off they ran. Chapter 5. A warrior human attacks. It was about a 2-mile run to the park. They traveled across the creek, up and down several tree-covered hills, and across a meadow. Picasso Park was surrounded by walnut trees, goldenrod clumps, cattail reeds, and honeysuckle bushes. The dogs settled in behind some of the shrubbery, safely out of sight of any humans. Mutt inhaled deeply, taking in the aromas from the grill to the other side of Picasso Park. Welcome to Hamburgerville, he said with a grin. Population, us. Karen groaned and rolled her eyes. Follow me, said Stick Dog. We need to be able to see a little better. They flattened themselves against the ground and scurried on forward on their bellies, pulling themselves up with their front legs. Several small hills surrounded the park, and it was one on top of these hills where the dogs stopped beneath a walnut tree. All 5 dogs peered towards the gazebo on the other side of Picasso Park. A woman with a yellow apron was grilling. 2 kids, a boy and a girl, were kicking a soccer ball back and forth. A man, presumably the father, was setting out paper plates on the picnic table. This is going to be tougher than I thought, said Stick Dog, peeking over the top of the hill. There are 4 humans. That's more than I'd hoped. I thought we could just run as fast as possible. Stick Dog stopped talking. He didn't stop talking because he had finished his thought. He stopped talking because Stripes had suddenly sprinted down the hill as fast as he could towards the smoking barbecue grill. Where is she going? Stick Dog asked. I think she heard you say, run as fast as possible. And Mutt lost his train of thought as he watched Stripes fly down the hill at full speed. She was streaking black and white fur, and she just took off. I hadn't even finished my sentence, said Stick Dog. I was going to say I thought we could all run as fast as possible and grab the hamburgers, but we won't be able to now because there are too many humans. If there was just 1 or maybe even 2, we could have handled it, but not 4. We need to come up with something clever. Stick Dog? Yes, he sighed. He was frustrated that Stripes had zoomed off, and he'd hoped Poo-Poo might have a solution. Poo-Poo was looking up to the walnut tree nervously. Could we move from under this tree? Those are some really big nuts. If there's a nasty tail-shaking squirrel up there and he drops one of these walnut bombs on my head, it's really going to hurt. Stick Dog closed his eyes for a moment. Let's not worry about that right now, Poo-Poo. We'll move on in a minute, I promise. Right now we have to worry about Stripes running off by herself against 4 humans. Look, she's almost there, Karen exclaimed. Man, she is fast, said Mutt. I've seen faster, said Poo-Poo, unimpressed. She's going downhill and the wind's behind her, that's all. Stripes was indeed almost there. She had begun to slow her pace to shorten her stride as she approached the unattended grill, None of the family had seen her yet. The boy and the girl were off in the grass on the other side of the gazebo, while the man and the woman were unpacking supplies from a wicker basket. Stripes slowed to a walk and then stopped. She hid behind her bench near the grill. It was only then she looked around and realized she was alone. Her head drooped up and her eyes focused on Stick Dog, Mutt, Karen, and Poo Poo, who were all staring at her from the top of the hill. It was this exact moment when Stripes was looking away from the gazebo at the mother unpacked a long, silver, two-pronged fork. When Stripes turned back around, there was the mother holding that long, silver, two-pronged fork. It glinted and shone in the sun as she carried it towards the grill. Oh, that was all Stripes needed to see. Any thought of trying to grab those hamburgers by herself vanished. She stared at the woman through the slats of the bench. The woman came near holding that fork and snapped her fingers, turned around, and returned to the basket. There was a split-second opportunity she needed. She came sprinting back up the hill. Get down, Stick Dog said, urging the others. We can't let them see us. They all scooched back out of sight of the family. It was only a matter of seconds before Stripes came hurtling over the top of the hill to join them. What happened? Where were you guys? She asked, panting. I hadn't finished talking yet, said Stick Dog. As I was saying, I wanted all of us to run in as fast as possible. Yeah, that's what I did, said Stripes. But we weren't able to because there were too many people. You ran off before I could finish my sentence, Stick Dog explained. Ew, Stripes said, and dropped her head, still panting. Sorry about that. Just stay here with us, okay? Okay, sure thing, said Stripes. Her voice turned deadly serious as she addressed Poo Poo, Karen, and Mutt. Listen, I've got very bad news. Those aren't just normal humans down there. They're like super warrior humans or something. They're very mean and very dangerous, and I think they have weapons. What do you mean? Asked Mutt. That warrior woman has a double-bladed silver sword. That was just a big fork, said Stick Dog, but nobody heard him. The others were focused on Stripes. The fear and anxiety of her voice commanded all of their attention. She was charging at me. She was walking, Stick Dog corrected. She was going to stab me with it. She was going to flip the hamburgers on the grill. Then she went back to that evil basket to get another weapon. She was getting the salt, said Stick Dog. Mutt, Poo Poo, and Karen didn't hear anything that Stick Dog said. They were all starting to panic. Their fear had made them back further and further down the hill, away from the park. And to Stick Dog's dismay, away from the hamburgers. Stop, Stick Dog said firmly. Everyone calm down. Come back here. They're not warriors with weapons. They're just having a picnic, and they use that metal thing to cook the hamburgers. That is all. They don't use it to stab hamburger thieves, said Stripes. Of course not, said Stick Dog. Are you sure? Mutt, Karen, and Poo Poo asked in unison, inching back up the slope towards Stick Dog. I'm sure, Stick Dog nodded. Come on, come look. They all peered down at the gazebo. Sure enough, the woman was turning the hamburgers with the long silver fork. I don't know, Stick Dog, Mutt said, still looking wary. This might be too dangerous. Look at the two little humans. They look like warriors too. How so? Well, that girl can kick that black and white ball about 100 miles per hour. And that boy, just look at him. He's letting the ball hit him right on top of the head over and over again. That's amazing, said Karen. I'm pretty sure that's just how they play with that kind of ball, said Stick Dog. Are you nuts? What kind of creature would let himself get kicked over the head over and over like that? Stick Dog, said Poo Poo, looking back up at the walnut tree. Yes, Stick Dog answered. Trying to keep his composure, his stomach now felt almost empty, and the smell of those sizzling hamburgers was drifting right up at the hill at him. Can we please move out from under this tree? Yes, follow me nice and low to that honeysuckle bush. They all followed Stick Dog to the honeysuckle bush. Something about the sweet aroma of the honeysuckle flowers and Stick Dog's soothing voice settled in the other four dogs considerably. All right, time to make a plan, said Stick Dog. We've made it this far. We've found the hamburgers. Now we just have to figure out how to get the hamburgers. And that concludes chapter 5 of Stick Dog. Tune in next time to read chapter 6. All right, goodbye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.